Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a October favorites. Is it really the end of October? I can't believe it, but we are about to go into the month of November, so I realized it's time again to film my October favorites. And just like last month, October brought so many good things. Most of what I have are products I picked up in the month of October and just, they either blew my mind, I used them non-stop, couldn't have loved anything more. This is basically what's in this basket is pretty much what I used for the month of October. So if you're looking to see what drew me in, what stole my heart for the month of October in reference to beauty favorites, then just keep on watching. All right, so as always, I'm not going to go in every category. I just pick out of my basket and we go from there. So first off, this is something that has been, I think, in my favorites before. It is the Too Faced Born This Way foundation. So those of you who've been with me for a while know that my top three have been Fenty, Do Our Skin Forever, and what was the third one? Huda. Well, then the Beauty Blender foundation came along, kind of bumped my Dior Skin out of the top three because I have been loving those three, the Beauty Blender, Huda, and Fenty. Well, I have previously used this foundation, loved it, but once I finished the bottle, I kind of just never had repurchased. And then a couple months back, Ulta had it on sale for like $29 or maybe it was $25. Anyways, I picked it up and I am just as mind blown as I was with the first bottle, although I loved the first bottle. I don't think I was as mind blown. This really has been my non-stop go-to foundation. It's what I'm wearing today. It just gives me such a healthy look to my skin, very airbrushed, very flawless. And I think this is now my number one. I know. I love this foundation so much. It's really nothing new. My shade is not one of the new shades. The light beige is the light neutral. It's not even the light medium neutral. I was too scared to try the light medium neutral because this one has always worked for me. So just been loving that foundation. That's what I've been using pretty much nonstop. Not a foundation, a concealer that was super hyped up that I had to try was the Cover FX Power Play Concealer. I had tried the foundation, like a little deluxe sample. Wasn't super over the moon for it, so never picked up the full size. But I did want to pick up the concealer because it was getting so much hype. And obviously I loved it because it is in my October favorites. I have been using it pretty much non-stop. It just gives, again, such a smooth airbrush look to my under eyes. It's matte without being overly matte, kind of like the MAC, I even forget what it's called. I used to use it. Anyways, they have a concealer that's super, super matte, but it's drying. This is matte, but not drying, and the applicator is so strange. It's something like I've never seen before. It's like a little, I don't know how to describe it to you. It's got like a little ball thingy at the end. It makes it so easy to put on. The only thing is it's not super precise. You can't really get into corners if you're looking to do that, but I have been absolutely loving this concealer. Mine is in the shade N Light 2. And I highly recommend it. It's kind of pricey, it's 30 bucks. So if you can pick it up on sale, that's the best thing. This next product, let's go with this one. So I am not a powder girl. This is something I featured in my Sephora recommendations for the sale. I'm not a powder girl. I hardly ever, I don't set my face, and then I don't really make it a habit to set my under eyes. I just don't. I have lately gotten into the trick of using it as kind of like the powder under my eyes in case I do my eyeshadow and I want to dust away any fallout, but I don't do that too often either. This powder has changed all that. This is the Huda Easy Bake. Is it Easy Bake? It's the Easy Bake Loose Baking and Setting Powder. Mine is in the shade Pound Cake. It smells delicious. It smells very similar to the foundation, but in an even more pleasant way. And this thing gives my under eyes, and today I actually used it to set my whole face, which, again, mind blown, because usually powders end up making my foundation look cakey, gross, thick, and I don't like that. This does not do that. It just gives me such a smooth finish. I just don't even know how to describe it, and so I am in love with this powder. I love that it has the little cap that you can just pull off, and then it does have a little net in there, which is perfect for me because if not, I'll end up going in with too much or either too little. It's just perfect. I do like it very, very much. It doesn't get as all over the place with that little net. This thing is so amazing, and I absolutely, it sold me on powder. Next product I've actually had for a year probably. Just recently started using it. It's one of those things, out of sight, out of mind. It was in my closet with my perfumes, but if I'm like at the start of the day, after I get dressed, I'm gonna head for the perfume, not necessarily the body spray. But I had gotten this in a holiday set last year. It came with this size, the small size of the spray, and the small size of the lotion. It's the Sol de Janeiro Brazilian, it came with the Boom Boom Cream, and this is the Brazilian Crush Spray Body Fragrance Mist. So one day I was like, I'm kind of over my perfumes. I haven't bought a new perfume in I can't tell you how long, and I'm dying for the Dior Joy perfume. That one smells so incredible, but I have had mine for a while, and honestly, like, I haven't even gone through them. So I've been making it a point to go through my perfumes, because what a waste. Well, I was kind of over all of them, and I thought I just want something different. So I ended up spraying this, and wow, I fell in love. This thing lasted all day long, and it mixes with my, what is it, like body chemistry or what do they call it, pheromones? I don't even know all that terminology and stuff. All I know is that this on me smells so delicious, but it has that kind of woodsy, musky scent on me, and I absolutely love this. This has kind of taken the place of a lot of my perfumes because this is what I've been reaching for. I loved it so much that I did pick up the new Sol de Janeiro Brazilian Carnival Extravaganza with the sale, with the holiday sale. So, and there's another one of these in there, and I'm super glad. So, because I can already see this going down as I've been using it. This is so incredible. Side note, Coffee Break with Danny was saying, because she uses the Brazilian Boom Boom Cream like religiously. Like, that's her basically whole body lotion. I don't do it. I just use it for my hands. But she was saying that the spray, ironically, does not smell good on her. So it might be one of those things where it just kind of depending on the body type or skin, or I don't know. It's weird, like just whatever's in your skin, whether it makes it smell good or not. Heck if I know. All I know that on me it smells amazing. The next thing is the Marc Jacobs, what is this? Highliner Glam Glitter Gel Eye Crayon. Remember how I had told y'all not too long ago that the Urban Decay 24/7 eyeliners, they don't last 5 minutes on my waterline, and that really frustrates me because a lot of people, they last so long. I don't even know. This thing though is a very different story. Now there are little glitter particles in here, so sometimes I do find that they get into my contact lens, but honestly the payoff and the staying power is so good that I kind of ride it out. This particular one is in the shade Glam Jam, and I've told y'all lately I love like reds and cranberries for my eyes, and this has been no exception. So because I've been wearing a lot of those eye looks, this thing has been such a lifesaver. Yes, they're expensive, but if you can catch them on sale, they are so worth it. Next up is the, okay, I've got a few Kylie Jenner products in here. So for her Halloween collection, I did pick up a few things, and there are sometimes a lot, let me just rephrase, there are a lot of times that I'm just mind blown and so happy that I picked stuff up, and this is no exception. So first off, her glitter gloss. I was afraid I really wasn't gonna like it. I think Nicole Concilio, when she had tested it out, she was like, yeah, it's a little bit not, she's like, I don't like it, the shade with my skin tone. Anyways, so I thought, oh man, I don't know if I should pick it up. I ended up picking it up because I love Kylie glitter glosses, and I was so happy that I did. I wore this in, I think it was my Sephora recommendations video, and I just love this. It's like gold orange, but it's weird because it's got like a green shift. It's very Halloween, but it doesn't look like weird on my lips. It looks like a color I could wear throughout the year. It looks so good. It's very different, and I am so happy that I picked it up. The next item I actually have on my lips, and it's another Kylie Halloween product. It is one of the metallic lipsticks. Now, they're marketed as metallic. I find them more to be like glitter lipsticks. It's in the shade Haunted, and it is a bright orange, very Halloween style. And this is the first time I would assume that she's come out with this finish in this type of lipstick. And no joke, I was so excited the first time I put it on. I'm like, oh my gosh, I have nothing like this in my collection. And I had to restrain myself from purchasing all four. But now I'm kind of like, darn, I should have picked up Monster, which is that green one, because given that I love the finish, I'm pretty certain it's beautiful. This is like, it's perfect for Halloween, but it's also one of those that I would consider using like throughout the year. It doesn't have to be October. It's very, very pretty. I've been looking for a vivid orange like this for quite some time, and the fact that it's got sparkle is like right up my alley. I feel like it brightens up my skin tone. Just the shade of orange is just perfect for me. Loving this. I have been using it several times. I find it hard to not pick it up at the start of the day to want to use it. Next couple of items before we go into palettes is also Kylie Cosmetics, and they are her 2 glitter eyeshadows for Halloween. These things, I have had so much fun using these, and they look so good. Her glitter eyeshadows really have impressed me. I passed on the first time that she released these, which I think was for the Stormy collection. But I have been picking them up. I picked 2 up from her birthday collection, and I did pick up both of them from the Halloween collection, and I can't even tell you how happy I am that I did. I have had so much fun playing with these, using these. They are just so vibrant and just metallic. If you like metallic eyes, then these types of things are right up your alley. Check out the Kylie glitter eyeshadows. They're stunning, and they're really good quality too. It's not like something that is just kind of cheapy or anything. They are stunning. So you have a bright gold and a very Halloween orange. Let's see, they are in the shades Hello Ghordgeous, like a gourd, and then Witch and Famous, and these are them right there. So really, really amazing. I'm gonna have so much fun using these well into winter months. Spring, I'm not gonna limit these to fall because I love them that much. Now let's get into palettes. I have several in here because honestly, like some of the palettes they have been releasing have been just stunning. And the crazy thing is, let's see, aside from 2 palettes, none of them were holiday. A lot of the holiday stuff has not called my name, but brands have been releasing other things aside from holiday collections that I just have been loving. Now this one is holiday. It is the Natasha Denona Cranberry Eyeshadow Palette. I told y'all in my review, if you haven't seen my review already and you're looking to see like swatches and details on this, obviously I loved it, then check that video out. But I typically don't buy small eyeshadow palettes like this. Why? Because I don't put them to use. I like to grab the ones that have quite a bit of colors in them so that I can have a large selection, so that I can mix and match and play. But you guys know I love my reds, my burgundies, my deep wine colors for my eyes. It makes my skin color look healthy. It just makes my eye color pop. There are just so many benefits to these color schemes that I just end up having to pick them up. So when I saw this in store, I was like, I'm gonna go out on a limb and pay the $48 for these 5 shades. And honestly, it was like, I am so glad I did. This is so, so good. They just pop on my eyes again, and they're so soft. If you have not seen that review and you're kind of curious, check that out. The only bummer to this is that one of them is a dupe from last year. So if you have the Aries palette from holiday of 2017, this one is in that one as well. But these shades are just so amazing. They go on so easily and they look great. I don't think I've ever gotten as many comments on people loving my eye look as I did in that Natasha Denona Cranberry palette review. So that has got to count for something. So here are 3 of the shades right here, and they just, the sparkle doesn't disappear once you put it on your lid. It is very apparent, very intense, and it is absolutely worth the price tag. So if you are rouge, take advantage of the sale, and if you've been on the fence about picking that up, and grab that this next weekend. Before I move into the next palette, I wiped all the swatches off of my hand so that I could make room for swatches for what's coming up. But I want you to see that the Marc Jacobs eyeliner won't come off. I have been rubbing and tugging and it is still there. So just wanted to point that out in case you need something really like waterproof. So the next one is the NARS Hot Tryst palette. I have been using this nonstop. It's really what I've been using since I got it for the majority of October as my blush palette. I've used the highlights a few times, but I have been just trying so many different things in the range of highlights that I have kind of neglected these. But as far as the blushes, it's pretty much been my every single day. They're stiffer in the pan, so you have to dig a little bit more, but they give such a beautiful flush of color and it stays on for so, just as you would imagine just as you would expect a NARS blush to stay on. It stays on for so long. It looks so good. I'm wearing this shade right here today, and I can't even tell you. These are just so good. It's a very different formula than what you're used to from the NARS blush lineup, but it feels very similar to the highlights that they've released in the past. So that is what we've got going on there. Let me give you swatches. They can look very natural. You can build them up. So I've got like one right here, and then I have got 3 right here. And I, again, have been using it nonstop. I have been neglecting pretty much all my other blushes because this has been it for me. Next up, ColourPop. Lately, ColourPop for me can do no wrong. In fact, the video might already be up by the time this one goes up, but I did a video. I'm doing a video because I'm gonna film it after this one, in why ColourPop is pretty much one of my top favorites at this point. Like, they just can do no wrong. Everything that they've been releasing has been good quality. It's not like they skimp on quality because they keep on releasing left and right. They've just been putting out some really great stuff. So a favorite for the month of October that I have literally not been able to put down is it's called Good Sport, but I think the collection was the Fall Edit collection, and it is what I'm wearing on my eyes today. And this thing is just, I mean, it's one of those, it's like the palette dropped the mic and walked away. This thing is so, so good. I would highly, highly recommend this over quite a few expensive palettes. High-end palettes. This thing is just as good, in fact better, because with high-end palettes you have that expectation that because I'm paying this much, it better be amazing. This one was, I think, how much was this? $16 maybe? I think it was $16. It might have even been less than that. And it is just, it blew my mind. It blew my mind. So it's what I'm wearing. Let me give you a few, like, I hardly have to rub my finger in the pan. They are so buttery soft. The shimmers, the standout shades, they are so, so buttery soft. Let's do this one. I mean, I hardly have to dig at all. They are very intense, very foiled. I mean, I would consider them to be rich, almost kind of like Natasha Denona, which I know that sounds crazy, but it is that good. And for someone on a budget who wants like some good quality shadows that really stand out, this is it. I have not been able to put this down, especially because it's got those standout shades. So sometimes I'll supplement and I'll use a different palette for the mattes, and I'll grab one of these standout shades for like the middle of my lid or something. It is just, I am so, so, so happy with this palette. Pick this one up if it is still available, which I'm sure it is. Next up, I have got another Kylie palette or product. This does still have the box. I'm not going to toss the box. I think it is so cute. It's the Kylie and Jordyn collaboration. This palette, when I ordered it, I was like, this is probably going to be a pretty typical palette. I usually don't pass up on her limited edition palettes because I am usually very happy with them. Her permanent ones that have been coming out, I've been passing on all of those, but her limiteds I have been picking up pretty consistently for a while now. So I knew I wanted to pick this one up. But honestly, when I saw the promo pics, I was like, okay, it's gonna be nice, but I think it's gonna be your kind of typical color scheme. And I was absolutely wrong. So mistaken. This thing is, I think out of all the Kylie palettes that have released, this is probably my very favorite. There are some shades in here that are just beyond words. They're nothing like I have in my collection. Everything blends easy, goes on easy, and if I wet my brush, it just goes on even so much more intense, and it is stunning. My favorite one is called Marry Me. They're so soft, softer than any Kylie shadow I remember. Let me give you a couple of these shades, but this is, I am so, so glad that I picked this up. It is so beautiful, and just to look at it, it's like, wow, that's pretty. But once you start putting it on the lid, it is ridiculously pretty. So let me give you a few of the shades. Now, people don't usually think of Kylie Cosmetics as like a go-to for some things, and honestly, she is one of my favorites for several different things, to include eyeshadow palettes and highlighters. So this is, look at this, it's like liquid metal. It's so pretty. and you can come up with so much with this palette. I have had so much fun using it. It's almost like I get giddy every time I get to play with it. It's so much fun. So I have got 2 palettes left. Let me wipe my hand off real quick, and then we will move into those. So the next one is actually a luxury eyeshadow palette, and I know I get sometimes comments on, you know, I can't afford that, and I know that's very expensive, and I don't, you know, I put this out here as like one of my favorites, but in no means to, you know, push anything on you. There's a lot of dupes that you can find for some of these high-end palettes. However, I will tell you that I have been absolutely loving the gold palette by Natasha Denona. This thing is incredible. It's the metallics that I love from her. Sometimes when she comes out with palettes, there's not as many of those like foil metallic glitter shades that I love. And this one has some of that just blows my mind. So the inside looks very similar as far as like just the layout, just typical Natasha Denona fashion, but these go on so amazing, and they are intense. They're very potent eyeshadows. Let me give you a couple. Now, the theme of this palette is just different variations of gold. So if you're not into that, then you won't like this palette. I love it. You can do a gradient like ombre. You can just kind of do one pop and just supplement. I don't know. There's just so much in here that you can do. Now, let me give you, I'm not giving you any of the mattes here. Let me give you one of the mattes. There we go. This is ridiculously pretty. All of the beautiful glitter shades have been coming out this season. This, the Pat McGrath, just so much goodness, and I am here for it because these are the types of shades that I love. So here we go. Here's a few shades. Here's one of the mattes. If you were reluctant to pick up the Safari palette because it has all mattes, then I would say get this one. It is incredible. It has been one of my favorites, and quite frankly, I think it might be my favorite of all her eyeshadow palettes, and I have been buying her palettes since she released the Star palette. So I think this one is absolutely my favorite, and I see myself using this for a very, very long time. So love it. Love the patent gold on the outside. Very different. Very beautiful and perfect for holidays if you're looking for that stunning eye look for holidays. Last but certainly not least, one of you was so kind to tell me when I told y'all in my last favorites that I had picked up the Lime Crime little palette at Ulta for 21 Days of Beauty. One of you had mentioned to me that Lime Crime was having a 3-day sale and that it was 50% off, and you were also nice enough to mention that Nordstrom matches prices. I did not know that. Well, I was able to pick up the XL, which I have been wanting. It's been in my Ulta loves list for a long time, but I was never really wanting to pay the $56 price tag. Well, I called Nordstrom, they price matched, I got it for $28, and I can't even tell you how much I love this palette. If I thought I loved that other little one I got at Ulta, I love this one probably like 50 times more, and I love that one so much. This is so good. The pigmentation, the colors, this is going to be along those same lines as like the pinks, the berries, those kind of shades that I tell you I just love. I really have not found shades as easy to work with as these. And I mean, there's some, but something like all palettes, all brands, you kind of have to work at it a little bit. I don't find that as much with this. Like, I find it so easy to throw this on, blend, and have such an intense look. So I really, really 100% say this is worth the $56 price tag. Obviously you can get it for 20% off at Ulta, that's even better. Sometimes Ulta does have specials on Lime Crime products. This thing is so, so good. I know a long time ago, Leora had mentioned that she loves this one. It's been in her favorites probably once or twice, and at that point I already knew that I want it, so I'm like, oh, okay, well, obviously this is a good palette, so I do want to pick it up. This is so good. Now, to the touch, they are a little bit dry. Once you start putting them on your eyes, they are anything but. They go on really, really nice, and they don't swatch as nice. So it can look like it's kind of a bummer palette, and it is not. It's anything but, and you can't judge an eyeshadow by its feel or by the way it swatches. You really have to put it on the eyelid to see if it's going to work, and this one is so, so good. So if you have a chance to pick this up, and pick it up on sale, even better, because I have been loving this and have been putting this to really, really good use. Alright guys, that brings us to the end of my October favorites. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you found it helpful. Maybe something that you were interested in, like struck your fancy as far as swatches and kind of like has helped you make a decision. But most of all, I hope that you found it enjoyable. Before I let you go, I do need to give you the verse of the day. And the reason I chose this verse is because I know there is so much division right now in our country, in the United States. And so I just, you know, the answer to everything. And this is not to force anything down your throat. This is just encouragement and motivation, just love from me to you. The answer to everything is always Jesus. You know, in a world of turmoil, he's the only constant, and you can find no greater love than in him. So today's comes from 2 Chronicles 7:14, and it might be a verse that you've already heard before, but it says, "If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and will forgive their sin and will heal their land, says the Lord." All right, guys, I hope you found this encouraging. I hope you're having a most wonderful day. I know Halloween's coming up, and I'm probably going to post this either on Halloween, maybe before, but I hope you have a very happy Halloween, giving out candy. Maybe you've got little ones that are dressing up. And so I hope you have a very fun day, and we will talk in the next video. Bye, guys.